understanding the present, and how to stop living elsewhere once and for all. Where are you right now? Where are you right now? Not physically, not the room you're in, the chair you're sitting on, or the device transmitting this sound to your ears. I know where your body is. I'm asking about you, your mind, your attention, and your presence. Are you present here, now, in these words, in this breath? Or are you elsewhere, reflecting on something from last week, rehearsing a conversation that hasn't happened yet, running quiet mental calculations about whether things will be okay, whether you're on track, whether the life you're building will turn out the way you need it to? Most people, if they are honest, would admit somewhere else, mostly somewhere else. The body is present, but the mind, the lived experience of consciousness, is split between a past that is already over and a future that hasn't arrived, living, to a significant extent, in an imaginary time. And here is what that costs, quietly and continuously, in ways we rarely notice because the habit is so old and ingrained. The moment we are actually in this one, right here, goes largely unexperienced. We pass through our lives like someone reading a book's summary rather than the book itself. We know what happened. We have processed the events, but we are not quite there for them. Today, we talk about the only moment that is real where your life truly happens, the only place where you have any power, the capacity for genuine choice, or access to the richness, depth, and the simple, extraordinary gift of being alive. The current moment, not just as a concept, as an experience, as a practice. You will incorporate this audio into the very fabric of your life. Let's get started. The nature of time. Let's begin with something that may seem abstract but is actually very practical. What is time? We talk about it constantly. We never get enough of it. We spend, waste, manage, and race against it. We feel its passage in our bodies, in the aging of our faces, the deepening of our memories, and the way certain things that once seemed permanent now feel impossibly distant. Yet upon a thorough investigation of the experience of time, something surprising comes to light. You have never experienced the past directly. What you have experienced is the present moment in which you recall the past. The memory exists here and now, accessible to consciousness, but the event itself is gone, irretrievably, completely, and finally gone. Your past exists now only in two places. In the physical traces it has left, written records, changed circumstances, and the marks on your body and your world, and in the mental activity of remembering, which is always happening now. Similarly, you have never experienced the future. You have only experienced the present moment in which you are imagining the future. The anticipation feels real, along with hope or dread, but the event itself hasn't happened. It exists now only in the mind's imagining, which is always happening in the present. This is what the wisdom of this law points to when it says there is no such thing as time as a fixed external reality. Not that clocks are wrong or that history doesn't matter, but that our lived experience, the texture of what it actually feels like to be you in your life, conscious and aware, is always and only happening in one place. No, not then, not soon, only now, this moment, the only moment when experience truly occurs. The implications are significant. If the present moment is the only place where lived experience occurs, if the past and future are merely mental constructs that exist only as activities of the present mind, then the quality of your presence in the moment directly affects the quality of your life. It's the quality of your life. Everything else is just commentary. The absent life. Think about the last time you were truly, fully, and completely present, not just performing at your best or managing the situation while part of your mind was elsewhere. but actually being here engaged with exactly what was in front of you, without the background noise of everything else. If you're honest, those moments may feel rare, because the default mode of the modern human mind is absence. The research on this is striking. Studies measuring mind wandering have consistently found that people are thinking about something other than what they are doing about half the time, not just during their most boring activities. On average, all day, half the time. This is not a character flaw. It is not laziness or a failure of discipline. It stems from living in an environment that has never been more hostile to presence, combined with the innate human capacity for abstract thought that allows us to mentally time travel, revisiting the past and rehearsing the future in ways most other creatures cannot. The capacity itself is remarkable. The ability to learn from the past and plan for the future is among the most impressive achievements of human consciousness. It has built civilizations. It has prevented disasters. It has enabled us to create, grow, and pass knowledge down through generations. But it has a shadow, and the shadow is this. The same ability that enables you to learn from yesterday and prepare for tomorrow also allows you to be mentally absent from today. You can be so caught up in mental time travel, reviewing, rehearsing, regretting, and anticipating that the experience of your real life, unfolding now in the unique and irreplaceable texture of this moment, passes largely unnoticed. We call this living, but it's more like a very rich kind of dreaming, a dream about a life rather than the life itself. The person who has truly learned to be present, who has cultivated the practice of genuine presence rather than merely pretending, is living a different kind of life than someone who is mostly elsewhere. Not more exciting, not necessarily easier, but more authentic, more full of real life, more truly inhabited. That quality of experience is available to you, not later, now. The past is already done. There is a particular kind of suffering that results from clinging to the past as if it were still occurring. The regret that isn't learning its punishment. The replay of a moment gone wrong, the thing you should have said, the choice you wish you could undo, running over and over in your mind like a tape that won't stop. The guilt that has long since surpassed its useful limit and has become simply a burden. The grief that isn't being processed but is being sustained, preserved, almost as if letting it go would be to betray something. The past doesn't need anything from you. It is finished, entirely, finally, and beyond change. Nothing you do now, no matter how much you review, regret, or replay, can alter what has already been written. The past is the only thing that's truly fixed. It cannot be changed or improved. It is over. What can be changed is your relationship to it. The past is just as important a source of information. The lessons it holds, what worked, what didn't, what you understand now that you didn't then, and who you became through the specific challenges of your history, are genuinely valuable, worth understanding, worth integrating, worth carrying forward as wisdom rather than as a wound. But carrying it forward as a wound, as an ongoing source of pain with no purpose other than to keep hurting you, is the relationship with the past that steals the present. Here's the question that cuts through most of the suffering caused by the past. Is this thought about the past serving me right now? Is there a lesson I haven't fully learned? Is there an action in the present that this reflection points to? If so, take action. Apply what you've learned. Reflect on it. If not, the thought isn't helpful. It is just a habit of returning to a place that no longer exists. You have the power to notice that habit, treat it with compassion, and refocus your attention on the only place your power truly resides. Here, now, this. The past is already gone. You are not. The future is still unwritten. If the past is already over and the future has not yet begun, the suffering it causes is, in a specific and important sense, completely imaginary. This is not to dismiss the importance of the future. Planning and preparation are essential, A clear vision of where you're headed guides your choices today. The future truly shapes how you live in the present. But there is a crucial, life-altering difference between using the future as a guide and living in the future as an escape from the present. Anxiety about the future is not preparation. It doesn't make the future safer, more manageable, or better planned. It doesn't add information, options, or capacity. Instead, it consumes the energy and attention you have right now today, in this moment, on a detailed internal simulation of negative outcomes that may never happen. The anxious mind is playing a very convincing movie. The scenarios are vivid. The emotional responses they evoke are real. The body does not clearly distinguish between an imagined threat and a real one, which is why chronic anxiety is physically and psychologically exhausting. The suffering is real, but the content is fictional. The event has not occurred. The feared conversation has not happened. The failure being worried about has not occurred. The disaster being expected is a projection, possibly helpful as a warning to get ready, never helpful as a permanent state. Genuine preparation happens in the present. You prepare for the future by taking action now. This means making the call now, having the difficult conversation now, building the skill, making the investment, and having the plan now. All of that is activity in the present moment. Everything is real, useful, and truly future-focused. The anxious anticipation that keeps you up at night drains the color from your present experience and makes you miss the real life around you as you imagine the life ahead that is not preparation. That is the theft of the present by a future that hasn't yet revealed itself. Use the future, but live now. The two are not in conflict. In fact, the person who is most genuinely present, most fully engaged with the reality of the present, is often the most effective at shaping the future, because they work with what is real rather than managing what is imaginary. What presence truly feels like. You have been fully present before, probably many times. The quality of those moments is clear enough that you can access one now if you try. It's the times when you're so absorbed in something that hours pass unnoticed, or when you're so genuinely engaged in a conversation that your internal chatter fades. It's those moments in nature, at a shore, on a mountain, in a garden, when the beauty before you becomes so immediate and complete that mental time travel ceases. It's also the experience of physical movement, running, dancing, swimming, when the body's need for full focus brings you entirely into the present and keeps you there. These are not mystical experiences. They are simply moments of genuine presence, times when the distance between life happening and the mind experiencing it diminishes, and dreaming about life is briefly replaced by actually experiencing it. Notice how different they feel and the quality of that difference. The unique liveliness of a moment is fully experienced, not merely remembered. It's the sense of actually being there that lingers, rather than just the details of what happened. This is what the present moment offers you that no amount of revisiting the past or planning for the future ever can. Experience the thing itself, rather than the story about it. And the remarkable discovery that practicing presence reveals is that this quality, this liveliness, this sense of experience is not reserved for special moments alone. It is accessible in every moment, whether you're savoring this morning's coffee, fully attentive, or facing someone and genuinely seeing them, feeling the breath moving through your body noticed rather than ignored in the simple, specific, and radically ordinary miracle of simply being alive and conscious right now. The present moment doesn't seem exciting on the surface. It rarely announces itself as important. It doesn't come with a soundtrack signaling that this is the one to pay attention to. It is only now, always now, the same now that has existed your entire life, that will be here for whatever time remains, and that is the only place where genuine life ever occurs. And it is completely, shockingly, endlessly full of experience if you're willing to be present for it. The practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a spiritual luxury. It is a practical skill, the ability to keep your attention in the present moment and to do so repeatedly without self-punishment that would make practice too hard to sustain. The mind wanders. That's simply what minds do. They have been shaped by millions of years of evolution to scan the environment, detect threats, plan for contingencies, and process experiences from every angle. The wandering isn't a failure. It's the mind doing what it has always done. The practice of mindfulness is not about eliminating mind wandering. It's about developing the ability to notice when it happens and to gently return, without drama or self-criticism, to how you're doing. That is the practice. Returning, not staying. And here is what makes the returning truly transformative over time. Each return develops a specific neural capacity, the ability to notice where your attention is, the ability to redirect it, the ability to choose in real time where to focus your consciousness rather than simply following the automatic current. A mind that has practiced this, that has made thousands of small returns over months and years of consistent effort, is fundamentally different from one that has not. Not necessarily smarter, not more knowledgeable, but more present, more available, more capable of fully experiencing its own life, rather than constantly being a step removed from it. The simplest way to practice: sit for 5 minutes and focus on your breathing. Don't try to control it. Just observe it. Feel the air as it comes in and goes out. Notice the rise and fall of your chest or belly. When your mind wanders, and it will, often and reliably recognize that it has strayed, then gently bring your attention back to your breath. That is the entire practice. Profoundly simple, genuinely challenging, and extraordinarily valuable. Beyond formal practice, mindfulness becomes a continuous part of daily life. When walking from one room to another, can you be truly present? When eating a meal, can you genuinely taste it? When listening to someone, can you truly hear them instead of planning your response while they speak? When doing the everyday, repetitive tasks that fill much of our day, can you be fully there, giving your full attention as you would to something important? Because they matter, not because each one is uniquely special, but because they are your life. They form the fabric of your life, and the extent to which you are truly present for them is the extent to which your life is truly yours. Gratitude is a gateway to the present. In my experience, one of the most immediately effective tools for focusing attention on the present moment is a simple practice that is often underestimated: sincere and specific gratitude. Not gratitude as mere positivity, not reciting a gratitude list out of habit without real feeling, but genuinely pausing to appreciate something specific in this moment and truly letting that appreciation sink in. The warmth of sunlight on your skin is felt rather than ignored. The fact of your own breathing, the automatic miracle of a body that does this without thought. The presence of someone you love, the specific, unique, unrepeatable reality of their place in your life. A cup of something warm in your hands. The small, ordinary, quietly extraordinary things that are here in this moment. Gratitude grounds our attention in the present because it is inherently a present-focused practice. You cannot truly feel grateful for something that hasn't yet arrived. You might anticipate or hope for it, but genuine gratitude responds to what is actually here. It's the mind focusing on what's present, recognizing it as worthy of attention, and feeling that worth. And that turning that moment of genuine appreciation for what is actually, right now, available to you is a moment of presence. The mental time travel stops the reviewing and rehearsing, quiet down. And for a moment, you are fully in your life, rather than in the story about your life. Research on gratitude and well-being is thorough and consistent. Regular, sincere gratitude practice yields observable improvements in mood, resilience, relationship quality, and overall life satisfaction. Not because it alters life circumstances, but because it shifts attention toward what is already present. It helps the mind recognize value in what exists rather than only noticing the gap between what is here and what is desired. This is the present moment, clearly recognized. Not the gap, the gift. Practice finding it. Do it once a day, once a moment, as often as you remember. Look at what is here. Allow yourself to feel what is truly worth appreciating. That feeling is presence, and life truly happens in presence. Power lives here. There is a misconception about presence that needs to be addressed directly because it keeps some of the most action-oriented, achievement-driven people from the practice. The misconception is that presence is passive. Being in the present moment means accepting everything as it is, letting go of ambition, stopping the striving, and mistaking stagnation for enlightenment. This is incorrect. It is completely wrong. The present moment is not where power goes to rest. It is where power actually lives. Action, real, effective action, the kind that changes things, can only be taken in the present moment. The past cannot be acted on. The future cannot be acted on. Every single thing you have ever done, every choice you have ever made, every move toward anything you have ever wanted happened in the present moment. A person who is genuinely present is not less effective than someone who is mentally elsewhere. They are much more effective because their attention, the most valuable resource they have, is focused on what is in front of them. Their decisions stem from a clear understanding of what is really happening, not from the fog of fear about what might happen or the noise of wishing something had turned out differently. Presence is how you do your best thinking, your best work, and your best conversations. How do you make your best decisions? Think about the times you've performed at your very best in anything. Were you somewhere else mentally, or were you fully present in the work, the conversation, the challenge, with your full attention focused and nothing dividing it? The answer is always the same. Peak performance equals peak presence. The flow state athletes, artists, and creators describe the experience of being fully immersed in the work without self-consciousness about how it's going is presence. Full, undivided, uninterrupted presence. This is available not just in exceptional moments. It is buildable as a default, a way of operating that, with practice, becomes the baseline rather than an occasional breakthrough. And from that presence, the extraordinary clarity and full engagement of someone who is truly here, the future you desire is created. Not from anxious anticipation, not from fearful imagining of what might go wrong, from the moment-by-moment action of someone who is genuinely, fully, and powerfully alive in the only time that is real. The small return. I want to give you something small and specific that you can carry with you for the rest of your day. Not a complicated system, not a drastic lifestyle change, just one small, portable, instantly accessible practice that distills the core of the law of the present moment into its most practical form. The small return. At any moment when you realize your mind has drifted elsewhere, you can come back. That's it. That's the entire practice. Noticing and returning. I noticed you have been repeating the argument from 3 days ago. Return to the meal you are eating, the road you are driving, the person you are with right now, and the breath you are taking at this moment. Please note that you've been running the catastrophe simulation on something that may or may not happen in 6 months. Return to the task at hand, the sensation in your body, and the actual quality of this moment, which almost certainly does not contain the catastrophe you've been preparing for. Notice how you have been physically present while your mind was elsewhere, nodding to someone while thinking about 3 conversations ahead. Come back. Truly listen to the words. Truly see the face. Truly be with the person who is right now, right in front of you. Each small return probably takes a second. It requires no equipment, no schedule, and no special conditions. It can happen anywhere, in any situation, by anyone. And each one is a true act of presence, a real return to the only moment when life actually occurs. Over time, these small returns add up to something greater than any one of them alone. They foster a different relationship with your mind, one in which you increasingly direct your attention rather than being carried by it. In this relationship, the present moment becomes more and more the place you inhabit rather than a spot you visit now and then, and the life that results from that practice experienced more fully, inhabited more deeply, lived with greater presence, and thus leading to greater richness in each ordinary moment, is a different quality of life than the one lived mainly elsewhere. It is, in the most literal sense, more life, more experience of the irreplaceable, unrepeatable gift of being alive in this world, in this body, and in this specific, extraordinary moment. That is available to you now and in the next breath. Please come back. This moment, right now. We've made significant progress together in just a few minutes. We have explored what time really is and what it is not. We have identified the specific, everywhere present, unnecessary suffering of a mind that mostly lives elsewhere than where life is actually happening. We have recognized the past for what it is, complete, unchangeable, and most valuable when understood as wisdom rather than as a wound. We have seen the future for what it is, not yet real, most helpful as guidance, rather than as a place to reside. We have experienced the quality of genuine presence, that unique, unmistakable, deeply ordinary sense of being truly alive in a moment. And we have embraced the one small practice that embodies the whole law of the present moment, the simple return. And now, in this final moment, I want to do something unexpected. Please come here, right now. Not when the audio ends, not when you decide to start practicing this. Right now, in this breath, in the final moments of our shared time. Feel the weight of your body, supported by whatever is holding you up. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs. Notice the sounds around you, those in the room, those beyond the room, whether it's quiet or noisy where you are. Notice the temperature, the specific quality of light or darkness, the small physical reality of your body in this space, in this moment. This is your life. This moment right here, right now, is your life. Not the abstract life you have planned or reviewed, nor the version you sometimes narrate to yourself as if you're watching it from the outside. This one, the one happening in these exact, specific, sensory, irreplaceable seconds. It's sufficient. It's more than sufficient. In fact, it's everything. The past has already done everything it can for you. The future will be shaped by what you do from this point forward, and this is where you are now. This is where your power lies. This is where your life in all its fullness actually exists. You have permission to be here. Full permission. Without the audit, without the rehearsal, without the simulation of the thousand other things your mind tells you you should be attending to instead. Just here. This moment is not a waiting room for real life. It is real life. And it is already fully, right now, yours.